you know, Len Shipman and all those people coming and wishing you all the best because it was obviously a big occasion. But I remember Dennis Fellows coming along and saying to Ray Wilson, because I was sat next to Ray, all the best, George. And I thought, George? Yeah, I mean, he's been playing here for about 6 or 7 years.
I think I was aware that we were doing better as a partnership at that moment in time, and that's the only time that counts. So I was very confident after the 2 games that I was going to out there and play well.
There's Bobby Moore of England, Cohen, Ball, Banks, Wilson, Hurst, Charlton, Bobby Charlton, Peters, Stiles and Jackie Charlton bringing up the rear. Her Majesty arrives in the royal box. Her Majesty the Queen with Sir Stanley Rouse, the President of FIFA, behind her. His Royal Highness Prince Philip, the Duke of Edinburgh, behind Sir Stanley Rouse. This is the German side. Number 5 is Schultz, one of the greatest defenders in football today. Bobby Moore, captain of England. Usual exchange of banners. England team, unfamiliar dark shirts, never been beaten in a football match by West Germany. There's Jackie Charlton, number 5. Bobby Charlton, his brother. The excitement is intense. The ground in many places is soft, but the 1966 World Cup final is underway. The ground is at its softest, the goal mouth to our left. Bobby Charlton, Hunt, and Hurst moving up. And so too Stiles again. And in goes Hunt. Charlton, Bobby Charlton, Hurst, Cohen, and the goalkeeper's flat out injured. And Ball gave away a free kick, pushing. Zulkowski, all right. Obviously a bang in the face. Probably saying to himself, well, I heard Muhammad Ali, Cassius Clay was here, but I didn't think he was on the field. And up comes Peters. Here's Peters. Great save by Zulkowski. The way things are going at the moment, but both teams still doing a lot of sparring. And Wilson penalized for taking Zayler's ankles. Haller to Zayler. Schnellinger now to Helt, number 10. Who is the better? To Haller, a goal! West Germany have scored. 12 minutes gone. Helmut Haller has put West Germany in the lead. German supporters making all the noise at the moment. Bobby Charlton. Now, Moore moving up with the attack. And brought down by Overath. With a free kick. In goes! It's an equalizer! Last Saturday, Geoff Hurst got that vital goal which knocked out Argentina. Now he's got a vital goal which has put England back into this game. 18 minutes gone, it's 1 goal each. This is Emmerich, there's Beckenbauer approaching him. This is Helt. Emmerich going into the middle. What's Saylor?
I think it's interesting to note this Zayler, number 9 there, Ken. He times his jump so perfectly. He goes up a fraction sooner than the defending players like Tommy Lawton used to. And it means he's up in position before the defending players can get off the floor, which makes it impossible for them to get at the ball.
"20 minutes from half-time, 1 goal each, and a foul by Hurtges on Hurst, another good quick free kick. Styles. Out of ball. Bobby Charlton. It nearly swerved away from Tchaikovsky. There's Bobby Charlton. One of England's hopes rest on him this afternoon. Beckenbauer. So far we've seen no danger from him bursting through. Emmerich. Up the sailor again. Beckenbauer spent all his time following Charlton, who's more a defensive player than he normally is. And out goes Hurst. And there's ball.
That was the hard shot along the floor that I was mentioning to you about the ball skidding off. He never really controlled that ball. He should have done, but he is suspect with these balls.
Now then, up comes Moore. At the sailor back in defence. Now England could well have this German defence a bit jittery. See the goalkeeper started to misfield the ball. Styles with brilliant tackle. Good ball. And England are rather lucky to get away with only a corner against them. Corner going to be taken by Helt. Overat. Oh, fine save, Emmerich. Well done, Gordon Banks, the hero of England. Number 10 is Helt. Now to Zähler. Emmerich in the middle. This is the German captain. That was dipping under the bar. Another good save by Banks. There's Haller. He's worried by Ball into a hurried one and a bad pass. This is Ball, and here's Moore coming up outside him. Hurst, Charlton. Play on, says the referee, and Beckenbauer and the goalkeeper are hurt. Oh, Beckenbauer, the goalkeeper was quickly up when he found that things were all right. Bobby Charlton. Great yawning gap down the middle. Hunt. Here comes Ball. Corner kick. I remember the day before the competition began, Billy Wright saying that the last 20 minutes would be in England's favour on this pitch. The crowd seemed to sense it. Ball with the corner. Hurst. What a chance! A goal! Peters. There's Martin Peters, the man who's scored the goal which could well win the World Cup for England. All smiles in the royal box. Ball. To Hurst. Up comes Charlton on Hurst's left. There's Jeff Hurst. Well, he missed the target, but nevertheless, the ball went onto the greyhound track, and the England supporters then know that that gets a few precious seconds for England. And it's a free kick to West Germany. 1 minute to go, just 60 seconds. Every Englishman coming back, every German going forward. Now, will the Germans snatch a dramatic equaliser and bring us to extra time? It's Emmerich coming in. And he's... Oh, yes, they must do! They have done! Weber has scored in the last seconds. And Jackie Charlton has collapsed head in hands. What a dramatic end. We are now in injury time. And there goes the whistle for the end of 90 minutes, so you can see how near England were to the World Championship. But now they have another 30 minutes. There's Bobby Charlton, picture of a serious man. Off we go, 15 minutes each way. Styles has got stockings rolled down. There he is, right in the centre of the picture. Ball has got stockings rolled down. This is always a sign, cramp creeping into the consideration. In comes Haller. Number 8, Helmut Haller. Out to Ball. As they're going to have to pace themselves in this extra time. It's a beauty. That's the best shot Alan Ball's put in since he's been an England player. And it was a pretty good save by Tchaikovsky. Ball. Jack Charlton. Peters, Bobby Charlton. Oh! Hit the post, and the goalkeeper's taken another one in the mouth. Oh, Helt! And there's not a soul there, red shirt or white shirt. And there's Helt. Must be saying to himself, well, I do it all late on a plate and there's no one there just to flick it in. Here's Ball running himself daft. And now Hurst, can he do it? He has done, yes! Yes! No, the linesman says no. The linesman says no. It's a goal! It's a goal! Germans go mad at the referee. This line, at the linesman who can only speak Russian and Turkish. Well, it's a great old day for West Ham United in England's colours. So, England are in the lead again. 3-2. Once again. But Hurst. There's Jeff Hurst, still willing to have a go. And now to Beckenbauer, to Emmerich. This is Helt. Well, Helt has worked so hard for Germany today. Crowd buzzing, arguing, wondering, are Germany going to pull it out of the bag again as they did in normal time? More. To Hunt, 21. That was buzzing not very far away. 21, Roger Hunt. Minute, 20 seconds left for play. Here's Schultz. Schnellinger is looking as if he can't move another inch. Goes Haller, there's Saylor. Back to Schultz. Sensible one from Cohen, and this should be the last gasp. 1 minute to go. Everyone's got to come up for this one for Germany. Haller. Hunt. referee looks at his watch. Any second now, it will all be over. 30 seconds by. Watson, the Germans are going down and they can hardly get up. It's all over, I think. No, it's... And here comes Hurst. He's got... Some people are on the pitch. They think it's all over. It is now. It's 4. Hurst has got 3. It is all over. England are the world champions. England are the world champions. The crowd are on the pitch now, but who cares? This great moment in English sporting history as Bobby Moore goes up to get the World Cup. Alf Ramsey walking forward to shake his hand. There is Alf Ramsey, the first sign of emotion from this man who has organised this victory. There it is. All the fuss has been about. And Bobby Moore comes up to receive the Jules Rimet trophy for England. Her Majesty the Queen. It's only 12 inches high, solid gold, and it means England are the world champions.
I can remember seeing Jack drop on his knees. I can see, Nobby and another couple of players, jumping for joy and hugging one another. And, yeah, it was a marvellous moment for all of us.
Nobby Stiles jumped on me. Absolutely delirious he was, I was, I don't know where he found the energy, but he jumped on me. He knocked me onto the floor, you see, and I can only describe it as sort of copulation. So he right in front of a queen, in the middle of the pitch, would have gone down in a Romans day.
I mean, I know Big Jack Charlton just sort of collapsed on a heap and sort of started crying. I know for a fact, my feelings were a sense of just a right load of responsibilities completely off his shoulders.
I remember Bobby Charlton crying, and I remember going around with the cup and Alan Ball jumping on Big Jack's back. I remember all that. And then afterwards in the dressing room, it was just pandemonium. I don't remember a great lot in the dressing room, but some of the Germans came in to swap shirts, and after that, really, I don't really remember the journey to the reception.
I want to be with my family. My wife now was my girlfriend then. I wanted to be with her. We've been away from home a long time, and being so young, the fact that we'd become the best in the world didn't really get over to me. But in the dressing room, I can tell you, it was something that I couldn't quite understand. The reaction from all the people of Ray Wilson and Bobby Charlton, Jackie Charlton. They knew that they would never have a chance again of achieving something like that, and they'd done it.
It certainly is the celebration side of it. I can vaguely remember sitting in the banquet room, and I really can't tell you. I was sat at the table with. It just went by so quickly. I can remember having breakfast in the hotel the next morning with Jimmy Armfield and his wife, and my wife Pat. We'd been out all night, obviously.
The overwhelming feeling was being probably the loneliest man in Wembley Stadium that particular day. I couldn't force myself to join the festivities because in my own mind, I'd built myself up that I was going to be in the side and I was going to be one of the key people who was going to achieve this, what most people considered to be an impossibility anyway. And I was going to be one of these people to do it. And suddenly, it wasn't there. It had vanished.
The other members of the squad paraded the trophy on the balcony of the Kensington Hotel where the FA staged their banquet. There were constant cries from the packed streets for Alf Ramsey. The mood was almost like VE Day.
It was chaos in the hotel. Afterwards, in the Royal Garden Hotel, what also stuck in my mind was it was the greatest night in this country's life, and my life particularly, and my wife wasn't invited, and they were stuck outside in the corridor waiting for us to come out of the banquet, which I found rather strange, and she certainly did.
It would have been nice if all the girls had been there, but we weren't. I think the German wives, but I'm not sure. I think they went. It was just like 11 girls out on a night out, really.
The thing I remember is going out on the night to Danny LaRue's club. He used to have a club in Hanover Square. I'd arranged for 4 or 5 of us to go, me, Bawley, John Kennelly, the Burnley winger, Nobby Stiles, and Martin. And Martin Peters, at the last minute after the celebrations at the hotel, decided, I phoned up to his room and said, are you coming now? And he said, I'm staying in. I mean, I'm amazed that he stayed in, and him and his wife, Kathy. And I'll never forget that to my dying day.
It was a long day. It was a very emotional day, very physical day with the extra time. I hadn't seen my wife for a number of weeks, and so it was just the thing that I wanted to do. I didn't want to go out shouting and screaming and drinking and whatever. I wanted to be quiet, and that's the way it was, really.
When everybody else calmed down and reflected, Bobby Moore's quick thinking at the free kick which brought Hurst's first goal was labelled vintage West Ham. But at the inquests afterwards, it was Hurst's second that had everybody arguing.
That one that made it 3-2, that came down off the bar again, you obviously had a close-up of that. We can't really tell on television, we can't tell on still pictures or anything, whether it was over the line, but do you any doubt at all?
I was about the only one that couldn't see it, because as I hit the shot, I turned and I didn't see any of it. I didn't see whether the keeper touched it onto the bar or anything. Roger Hunt, who was very near me, said it was definitely in. There was no doubt about it at all.
Geoff, we're standing on the very spot where you threw the whole football world into a controversy which has never been properly settled. How clearly do you remember the goal itself?
Don't remember the ball to Nobby, that's from Nobby to Bawley. But I know Bawley was going to cross it. He knew that I liked the ball in very, very early from wide positions, as I do at West Ham. And I knew immediately that he got there, he was going to cross it without having 1 or 2 more touches. And I was quite pleased. The ball actually, I was in a bit early, and the ball came slightly behind me, and I had to more or less drag it from behind me into a position to get a shot in one movement. And I was quite pleased with that, technically. I hit it more or less on the half turn and fell over, so I didn't really see exactly where the ball immediately where it had finished up. I always go on Roger Hunt's reaction. I saw him just afterwards going in where I think he could have scored, being a great striker and making sure. He wheeled away immediately, and I just feel that convinces me more than anything that it was a goal. Although I think you believe, you know, what you want to believe, and I wanted to believe more than anything in my life, of course that was a goal, and I still believe that today.
People said to me, well, why don't you just go knock it in? But it wasn't just there to be knocked in. It hit the underside of the bar, and I was coming in at that angle, and the ball finished up going over that way, and Webber, who was marking me, I don't know if anybody's seen the film, you know, the film afterwards, after the actual hitting the bar, but it's nearly past the goal, the ball, when it bounces up again. And he heads it behind the goal.
The ball comes from the side, and I run into the front, and I see the ball when he comes up, and I took him over the goal.
I have seen the television pictures, and we saw that the chalk was flying up, and therefore we said it was not possible that the ball was behind the line.
Still people, you know, talking about this goal. I was very, very close to the situation because I played, you know, it was in our zone, in our penalty zone, and I saw, of course, I saw the ball, you know, bounce down from the crossbar down to the line and hit the line. So my impression was of course no goal, because, you know, if the ball hit the line, so it is impossible, you know, the whole ball can be behind the line.
I think it was not a goal.
When you've played football so many times and you've seen balls hit the bar and come down, you know instinctively by just looking whether they've gone over or not. And I went, oh, it's over, you know. I was staggered when the linesman's flag was up because I thought he was actually disallowing it, you know.
That linesman, Tofik Bakramov, is now 65 and later became head of physical culture at a college in Baku on the Caspian Sea.
There you are, you see? It's quite clear that the ball crossed the line. Quite clear. To this day, I'm convinced that Mr. Dienst, the referee, also saw the incident very well. To be absolutely sure, he then came over and consulted me, and I pointed to the center circle to say that the England goal was good. My intuition told me that if I'd been standing directly in line with the goal, I wouldn't have had such a view, whereas I was about 7 or 8 meters towards the halfway line, so I saw very clearly that the ball hit the crossbar and landed beyond the goal line.
So the great debate lingers on. Fortunately, on the day, Hurst put the result beyond doubt and his name into the record books by scoring his third and England's fourth in the last seconds. There wasn't even time for Germany to kick off.
It's always fascinated me, Geoff, that when the final was over and things had died down here at Wembley, you actually made this walk from the tunnel out to the edge of the pitch just to check that the score really was 4-2.
Yes, it was a funny thing to do. Amidst the chaos in the dressing room, I asked whether the goal had counted, and they said it had done. So I knew it had counted, but I, funnily enough, came up here and had a good look up there just to make sure, and I think it said 4-2, and it was a strange thing to do at the time, because it was confirmed in the dressing room, of course.
What do you think was going through your mind?
I don't know. I mean, why do you do these crazy things, you know, in the midst of all the chaos that's going on? When you look back 20 years ago, or even the next day, it's a stupid thing to do. You know, funny.
Mind you, it begs the question, which people have asked you for the last 20 years, what was it really like to score 3 goals in a World Cup final?
Well, it's lovely to live with today, but when you're down there playing, and it sounds very blasé, but it's an honest opinion, you're doing something you've trained for, and it's your job for the past 5 or 6, 7 years. In fact, you've done since you were a kid. And when you're down there, you're not aware of the momentous occasion. You're down there for 2 solid hours running around and the Germans kicking lumps out of you. And it's great for your family and your friends and the country as a whole who watched it. And they are totally aware of the magnitude of the occasion. But when you're down there for those 2 hours, you're just doing a job. And it hasn't dawned on me. It's only dawned on me in recent years, the enormity of the occasion. And it's marvellous. It's something that always lived with me. I mean, a great story, only 2 or 3 months ago, a tramp came up to me in Euston Station and said, "Are you Roger Hunt the golfer?" I said, "No, I'm not." He said, "Come on, mate." He said, "You're Roger Hunt the golfer." I said, "I'm not." He went back to his pals in the corner. They were sleeping rough overnight in the buffet. He came back. "We got you now." He said, "You're Geoff Hurst the golfer." I said, "No, I'm not. I'm not." My wife and family, they're laughing. Eventually he came back and got it. He said, "You're Geoff Hurst the footballer." I said, "That's right." He said, "When you scored those 3 goals in the World Cup in '66, I was at Pentonville, and we smashed the cell up."
In 1985, England and West Germany met again. The same players, the same colours, the same result. And Hurst, fittingly, obliged with another hat-trick.
Funny story about your children. They weren't born at the time, but they came to the game at Leeds when we played the rematch very recently. And they got 20,000 people there, and it was a super game. 9 of the Germans turned up. All our side started. And it was strange. They suddenly realised the importance of it all. And they sat in the car afterwards. I mean, there's no man of 40-odd playing this silly game. And slightly overweight. And they sat in the car on the way home and said they were proud of me. And it sort of registered back, all those years. And they all begun to be aware of the achievement.
Well, I'm not the kind to live in the past. The years run too short and the days too fast. The things you lean on are things that don't last. Well, it's just now and then my line gets cast into these time passages. There's something back there that you left behind. Oh, time passages. Buy me a ticket on the last train home tonight. Hear the echoes and feel yourself starting to turn. Don't know why you should feel that there's something to learn. It's just a game that you play.